Welcome to the alumni gathering. I'm standing in for Mr. Babone, who is still out with the flu. And so in his place, I'm leading the proceedings today. This is always an exciting event because we get to meet students from Ellenville High School, no longer students here, in situ. They're graduates, and they have experiences and knowledge that we want to share with everyone. So the program goes quick for a period, so I'm going to start by asking each person to introduce themselves, and if you could set the pace since you know what we're doing.
Hi, I'm Cassandra. I graduated in the class of 2016. I'm now at the University of Vermont Medical School. Did I forget anything?
What's your future goal?
To be a physician.
My name is Michelle. I graduated in 2022. I'm a current student at Albany studying psychology and criminal justice, and my goal is to become a licensed social worker.
Hi guys, my name is Sonia. I'm a third-year student at Syracuse University, and I study psychology on the pre-med track. I'm also a 2021 graduate from Ellenville, and my future goal is to be a psychiatrist.
Hi, I'm Gabby. I just graduated a couple months ago. I'm studying education with a minor in photography. I'm planning on switching it to a major of arts and photography to become a photography teacher. I also go to the College of Staten Island and as well as soccer there.
Hi, I'm Jessica. I graduated in 2023, and I now attend SUNY Purchase, and I'm majoring in sociology, which I was majoring in chemistry, but I changed it because chemistry. My goal is to become a high school principal.
Hello, my name is Dennis. I go to SUNY Ulster, and I'm majoring in criminal justice.
Hi, my name is Bella Ramirez. I went to Hunter College in Manhattan. I'm now deputy to Congresswoman Karen Maloney with an expertise in advising on women's and feminist issues. Oh, and my goal is to make, to get the Equal Rights Amendment recognized in the Constitution. That's what I work on.
Hi, I'm Megan Eckert. I also went to CUNY Hunter. I graduated Ellenville, well, I graduated Hunter as well, I graduated Ellenville in 2019 with, and currently I work at the Metropolitan Museum of Art and the Visitor Experience Department. And in the future, I graduated Hunter with a anthropology classical archaeology degree with a minor in geology. And I hope to become a medieval archaeologist working in pottery. I'm currently applying for grad schools.
Thank you all. So I'm going to ask a series of questions. All of you don't have to answer every question. We won't have time for that. But I will ask the question aloud, and if you want to respond, you can do so. I'll have to take 2 or 3 responses, okay? So the next one, and we're trying to give a little hint and some help to the students who are here about what their post-secondary life might look like and what it contains. So the first one is, what is one positive memory you have from your high school years here in Ellenville?
I can go. One of my positive memories is that I met Megan, and we're still roommates now in the city, and so that's a positive, I guess.
Thank you. Anybody else?
We already answered, but I'll change my answer. My answer before was graduation, but now I will say Mrs. Fagan's class. For a while, I was thinking of being an English teacher because of her, but then I was like, I don't think I can teach high school students. So I'll just work with high school students in the psych hospitals. But I think everyone should take that class. So if you're a junior, I don't know if any of you are, but if you have junior friends, tell them to take that class because it's a really good class. I'm not biased.
Thank you. Anyone else?
I would say, obviously, I like history and everything, but I took AP Euro. Weirdly, I love that class, and also Ms. Tucci's earth science class. That's why I majored in minored in geology.
Okay, let's expand on that question. And help us out. How many of you are juniors who are here? Raise your hand, please. The rest of you seniors, raise your hand, seniors. Are there any 10th graders? Good to have you guys here too. All right, so the question is this. What was it like as you contemplated graduation from here? All of a sudden you're a senior and you're faced with questions about where you're going, what are you doing, how are you financing this, how are you going to finish your grades, et cetera, et cetera. What were your feelings when it came to your high school graduation or that last year?
I have to be honest, I was not thinking about it. I got into Hunter and I was like, that's it. You know, this is also pre-pandemic, so very different world. Back in 2019, that was right before the pandemic started. And I was mostly just focused on field hockey. I thought I was going to go to college for field hockey, ended up not doing that. And it was like, kind of scared, not gonna lie. But also I went to Hunter, so it was way cheaper than a normal student's college. So I didn't really worry about finances as much. And also once you get into college, there's a lot of aspects where you can get scholarships and everything, so.
Great. Thank you. Anybody else?
I feel like when I was in high school, it was so stressful trying to figure out where I wanted to go to college and what I wanted to do, and the whole financial aspect, like do I want to go far, do I want to stay close, playing sports, and I feel like in the moment, it's just like it was so stressful, but once it's all figured out, it's like, it's a great time, and it's like, once you figure it out. But in the moment, it's stressful, but it goes by quick, the process.
I'm going to lean on you, Dennis. What was your senior year like, and what were your concerns, worries, happiness, whatever, for the last year prior to graduating? You just graduated in June.
Yeah, it was like 2 weeks ago. I didn't know where I wanted to go. I was like, okay, I'll just go to Ulster. But then next year I'm transferring to Alumni.
Did you do anything interesting over the summer?
I want somewhere special, I guess. I went to South Africa.
That's it?
It was fun. It's a prank. And yeah,
I put you under the spotlight there. You have to plug the program to South Africa. So. All right, let's move on to another question. What do you think, what's your advice to Ellenville High School students about post-secondary life? What should they know? What should they think about?
It's a lot of work. It's stressful, I'm not gonna lie to you. You're gonna think that there's no one in your life, considering it's very nerve-wracking going, and you don't know a lot of people. It's not like Ellenville, you turn the corner, you're like, oh my gosh, hey, we have class together. Hey, I live down the street from you. Hey, I've known you since I've been in nursery school or kindergarten. But there's always gonna be someone that feels the same way as you, and you just have to find your people. I mean, your roommate, your people in your class, the people that have the same major as you. You guys are going through the same thing. There's going to be freshmen that feel the same exact way. I mean, we're not the only small town in the world. There's people that live in small towns all over this place, and they're going to feel the same exact way as you. Yeah, it's stressful, but I mean, it's an experience that not many people get to go through, and that's the thing about college. It's an experience.
I think also, like when I was graduating, I felt this misconception that I was going to go in and know exactly what I wanted to do, and then I would just do that. Whereas for me, college was a lot of taking classes and different things, and feeling okay with that. And you know, I majored in creative writing with poetry, which doesn't have much to do with working in politics, but it turned out to have been helpful because now I can really write and all these different things. Or even I took a bunch of classes in medieval literature because I got really involved in medieval literature for some reason. And so if you have something you're into going into your major, you don't have to just like, okay, I'm majoring in, I'm going to be a math teacher, so I have to just take math classes. Like, if you love photography or you love music, still take those classes and you can figure out ways to combine your major into a life that you are comfortable with, because there's so many jobs that you don't even know exist yet.
I just want to piggyback on what Bella said, like nurture your interests for sure. Megan and I worked a lot together in high school, just like stage managing and whatnot. I stage manage Free Wellbe now. I am secretary on the e-board. I nurtured it. I didn't go to school, I'm not going to school for theater, but it's still something I really like to do. So join the clubs. I know Alumni has over 300 student-run clubs. A lot of schools do. We like to say if you don't find a club you like, start it. But definitely nurture your interests. Don't just like throw them to the side, because it's really easy to do that in college. It's really easy to get caught up in work, internships, and life, and whatnot. But keep your interests, because I meet so many people that are like, oh, like I stopped doing this and I stopped doing art, and like now I'm scared to join art club. Just do it. Just do it your freshman year. Just join all the clubs. You don't need to go to every meeting. You don't. Just keep who you are. Don't let college get to you completely.
Any other bits of advice for the students sitting here, based on your experience?
You don't have to go in decided. You really don't. Going in undecided is actually a great thing to do. I know a lot of people that I'm friends with, they don't really have a major, they're in undecided. And you can take your gen eds, you can do it, get it out of there. And you can take electives like photography, art, whatever you want to do, poetry, and you can do that, and you can just figure out what you want to do with your future. You don't have to go in saying, all right, I want to become a physical therapist, I'm going to go do exercise science, I'm going to go do biology, all this stuff, and then you turn out you freaking hate biology. Like, what? And then you're unhappy. Why are you going to be unhappy in a major that you don't like and then you want a future in it? So go in undecided if you don't know what you want to do. If you think you have an idea, okay, cool, do that. At the end of the day, you can change your major too. But, I mean, going in undecided is also a good thing to do.
Anyone else?
I guess one thing I said to the last group is just, I think that when you're in high school, your awareness of what jobs are available feels small. At least that was true for me. And I mean, just think about that at the table, what Megan and Bella are doing. And if you thought that those things were jobs in high school, I certainly did not. I think that it's very common in high school to know that you can become a nurse, a doctor, a teacher, a police officer, things that we have exposure to. But one thing I've learned since I graduated high school is how wide the breadth of things you can do making money. So I think one thing you can do when you're in high school, or when you're thinking about what you like to do or what you find interesting to learn about, is just to look up how to follow that and what you could be doing beyond high school and beyond college with whatever makes you feel really happy. And that doesn't always include going to a four-year school. My brother went to a 2-year trade school and gets to work excavators and run big machines, and it makes him really happy, and he gets to make a lot of money doing that. So even though it might seem like, or something I acknowledge as a privilege to be able to just like go to college and explore what you're interested in, I think one way to like take advantage of your curiosity now and to kind of prepare yourself so it doesn't feel like you're just going into college and exploring and you don't know what you want to do, is to think about and start researching like ways to do what you would want to do beyond it.
I was just gonna say one thing I didn't expect was like how classes were gonna be and professors, and how different it is from high school, because you're kind of like on your own, and in a way you kind of have to teach yourself all the subjects you're learning, and it gets really difficult and hard. And I know like freshman year, I didn't expect that, so I went and I took my first test and I got like a bad grade on it, and I was just so surprised because from high school I was getting like all A's and I didn't have to put in that much effort. But once you get to college, like you really have to apply yourself, you really have to study, and also like make connections with your professors because they have opportunities for you as well.
I think just like to quickly jump off of that, something I didn't like fully accept when I was going to freshman year was that there were times I was going to need help and need to ask for it. And it took me until like junior year to figure out that it wasn't embarrassing to ask a professor for an extension. So that's my big piece of advice. If you're panicking, if you're freaking out at any point, just go to office hours and tell them, hey, I'm freaking out. And for me, 9 out of 10 times, those professors were like, let's figure it out together. Where I kind of went in with this misconception that the professors were mean, and if I was late, I was going to get locked out of the class and all that stuff. And like, that didn't happen, which might have been unique to my experience. But really, like, if you need help, find it, ask for an extension, ask for extra help on the test. There are tutors, probably at your college, there are at most. But really, if you think you need help, if you need a counselor, if you need anything, don't feel embarrassed that you need help, because that's like just, it's stupid.
Yeah, and oftentimes when you go ask for help, that's a way to make a connection with your professor, and we talked a lot about networking in the last session. And I feel like if you're struggling on your own, there's no opportunity to network. I used to make up questions to go see the professors, which is really nerdy, but then they knew who I was and knew my name and knew my face, and I wasn't just like another student in their class. And so I think that in the beginning of college, it does seem like, oh, if I'm going to ask for help, I'm not doing good enough, or I'm failing at college, or, you know, they're gonna know I'm struggling, but it's an opportunity for you to like make a relationship with a professor, which could like open up doors for you later on.
Also, I know I'm very lucky. I had a very, because who is classical archaeology? I recognize that. So we have very small classes, and I was able to make connection with professors, but even still going to office hours and everything, it's able to make a better connection, because at the end of the day, your professors are also still people. Like you still have to respect them as another person, and so creating those ways can also make a better like environment in the classroom. Like you're more able to like joke around and like have them more understand like situations and everything, and it's like also with like networking, then you can get some really cool letters of recommendation and everything for post-grad or anything else you need in that time.
Thank you. Well, let's shift gears a little bit. What did you know or not know relative to financing your education in college? And then how did you work it out? Or have you?
I didn't know much about college in general when I was in high school. So one thing I like laid out in the last session before we all talk about how we made that happen is just when you apply to college, you automatically get considered for merit aid. So merit aid is based on your grades. It's not something you have to apply for. Schools will automatically consider you for that. So when people talked about getting scholarships in high school, I didn't know what that meant. And so I thought that would be helpful to know. And then the next thing people talk about a lot was like FAFSA or financial aid. FAFSA is something you have to apply for most often with like caregivers income and things like that. So I know that the school does workshops on how to fill those out because the forms can be pretty daunting. And then once you get financial aid, you can get that in a couple different ways. There are grants the government can give you that you do not have to pay back. There's federal work studies, which they like arrange a job for you to do on campus, and then that chips away at your tuition. And then they can also give you access to loans that you can take out, and you have to pay those back when you're done with school. So to speak to your question before everybody else goes, I got a merit-based scholarship for most of my undergrad education, and then now that I'm in med school, I'm fully funding that with loans, which is unfortunate, but one day I will hopefully pay them back.
It might be forgiven, you never know.
Yeah.
I think also, like, and I know Megan can speak to this too, both kind of made the decision that we didn't want loans, which was part of the reason we really sought out a school that didn't have that was still high caliber, but didn't have an absurd, like, it's $80,000 to walk in. So like, sort of that was something we really, both of us thought really hard about, that like, what is a reasonable amount to pay for my education? And then also, as something I didn't know going in, once you sort of get to sophomore year, a lot of scholars programs start bubbling up within your major, and you want to pay attention to those. Like I did like an Eleanor Roosevelt Scholar in Public Policy, which is like a ridiculously long name. But they gave me $2,000 and figured out a way for me, they set up for me to have a paid internship between junior and senior year. And that was huge for me, figuring out a way to get a paid internship, because a lot of internships are unpaid, which is not fair, it's exploitive. We have to fix it. But if you can find a scholars program that has that internship line, it's huge for finances.
Yeah, I went the expensive route with college, but like fortunately I don't have to, I'm not like in a big amount of debt or anything, but there are like a lot of programs and grants that you can get. I think I said before, like you can apply for the Pell Grant. There's also the TRIO program, which is a really good program that will help pay for college as well. There's just so many opportunities where like, yeah, like, you know, you can, like that number is like, it seems really intimidating and big, but there's like ways that you can pay for it. You just have to like find the right resources and ask around and stuff.
One other program I want to speak to, because one of my best friends, some of my best friends from high school did EOP, and I feel like that is not something that was like well known when we were in high school. Not many people talked about it. One of those people is Diane. Are you Miss Eccles here? Okay, Diana Didi, Miss Eccles, whoever she is to you. She did it. Not Diana. Miss Eccles. She did it, and it was positive experience. Yeah, I think that if finances feel like something you're thinking a lot about, I would recommend looking into EOP. And I know Mr. Mulner.
Yeah, and I want to jump on that because, of course, a lot of the work I do. How many of you have been to SUNY Ulster or other colleges with me? Yeah. So when we go to SUNY Ulster, we have the person who is the director of EOP there speak directly to the students, and if you want, you can arrange for your parent to come and meet with them too. But I was stunned because if you go to SUNY Ulster, you actually could go for free. 9 out of 10 students who attend Ellenville are eligible for EOP. And the gentleman who's the director there, he's from the area, I don't think he's from Ellenville, but he went to his 2-year college free, a 4-year college free, and his graduate degree was free through EOP. So when I first heard about it, I went around here saying, hey, what about EOP? And a lot of people didn't know about it. And we're like 20 minutes from the school. So we promote that now, and we really push it a lot because school can be daunting. I don't know if you said it again, but $80,000 a year at Syracuse is a lot of money. $80,000 a year. Am I right, son? So, you know, she gave a lot of clues and cues on opportunities for grants, loans, things of scholarships, things of that sort. You got to work it. But some people start a path through community college. I did. It's very helpful. And if you live in Ellenville, you're going to school in Ellenville, you're a decent student, you will get into eligibility for EOP. So thank you for bringing that up again.
Some 4-year schools offer it too, right? I know SUNY Cortland offers it.
Yeah.
So I would just look at, if you're interested in a school and think you might be interested in EOP, just see if there's compatibility.
I think it's only in the SUNY system, am I right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but there's also some big schools, you just have to really look into it. It's called HEOP.
That's right.
HU.
Yeah.
Syracuse offers HU.
Yeah, higher education opportunity, yes. So, anybody else want to talk about money?
I just want to add that scholarships in your major, I know we were talking about that earlier, but when I was in high school, I'm sure you all know they do that big like scholarship ceremony, yada yada yada, your senior year. Do those scholarships. I know it's a lot of papers, but look through them. There was like 5 or 6 that were for social work, which is what I'm going to school for. I got one. That really helped me buy a MacBook actually. Those are really helpful in high school. There's a lot of them in college. I know like Albany does a lot of them a lot. Like you said, EOP, my old roommate, she was basically living on campus for like half of what we were paying because of EOP. So we were all paying $10,000 a year. She was paying like $5,000. So programs like that. I was in TRIO. TRIO is also at SUNY Ulster. It's kind of similar in a way. Definitely do that. But there are also scholarships unique to your circumstances as well. Like my mom's going back to school and she got a scholarship because she's a single mom. So like look on the lists. I know they're long, but definitely worth it because you won't regret money. That's one thing you won't regret.
I think also, sorry, quickly, you know, I was saying Megan and I chose a school that was like not that expensive on the front end, but then it's also in Manhattan, so like it's impossible to live there. There's this joke that everybody says that like nobody can afford to live in Manhattan, yet everybody does. So what I figured out was that I needed to be an RA, which wasn't my best like idea of what I wanted to do. but at my school, RAs got to live on campus for free, and you did kind of have to be the cop of the school, which I hated. But it was just like, I got to live there for free and figure it out, and that was major help, because a lot of the times you go in and you think the tuition is one thing, but then the room and the board will be even more. So that's something to look at, keep an eye out for, definitely.
Throughout college, I had a scholarship based on my major. I was in the classical studies honors program, and so I got free tuition. I went to Greece for free. We also had monthly meetings. We had like free advisors and stuff. Like once you're in college, sometimes that's the scariest part, is going in and not knowing how you're really going to pay for it. And I left college with Hunter is $6,000 a year. Yeah, so I left with $6,000 in debt, and after that, it's like sometimes you just need to wait as well, because I honestly didn't know anything about grants or anything. I knew from my sister's experience, she went to private college and had a lot of debt, so I was just mostly focused on going to a cheaper college for undergrad.
Can some of you comment on work that you do? I mean, everybody, I know when I went to college, I was driving a cab, I was doing all sorts of different things just to make ends meet. So what are you guys involved in that? Do you work? Do you have paid internships? I know, Sonia, you mentioned something where you're working now.
Right now, I'm currently a youth care specialist at the William George Agency in Cortland, and basically it's just an agency for troubled youth, and we're just helping them like get through their trauma and their past experiences. Many of them come from like broken families and homes, or like psychiatric centers or juvenile centers, and they stay there to get help. So that's what I'm doing right now. But I also want to mention that if you apply for FAFSA, you can get work study through your school, and you can get a job on your campus as well. So that's like another option instead of working an off-campus job.
I work at a hospital, and I'm a peer counselor, so I actually will, eventually once I move up and start working there for longer, they will pay for my classes as long as they're towards my major. So I'm actually taking all these psychology classes, and Ellis, my job, is paying for them. So that's another really, really good option that people don't talk about. I have a car, so I can drive to my job. So I'm getting like that reimbursement from my job. I'm also getting first dibs on like internships and stuff because I work there. So that's another really good thing, and also it's really great on a resume and be like, oh, you're going to college for psychology and you work in a psych unit? That's awesome. So definitely, like, I know you might like Walmart and ShopRite and your whatever jobs, but try to get something that has to do with your major, even if it's a super basic per diem. Per diem jobs are amazing. Get a per diem job in college. If you don't know what word per diem is, it's kind of as you want. So I last month worked twice, and that's because I wanted to. So I know it can be hard to juggle all that, but per diem jobs are awesome, and they look great on your resume.
I think also, I worked at American Eagle. I worked in the fitting room, which was beneficial because I convinced the manager to let me study in the fitting room so that I didn't have to be on the front end. I made myself flashcards and was going through while people were trying on clothes. But sort of with that, like, I am so grateful that I worked in service when I was in college, because I made money, and even now, like, as I'm applying for jobs, or was applying for jobs, and talking to people in my career, everybody is always like, so many managers I meet are like, I don't hire people who haven't worked in service. Because it's like such, they see it as like, okay, this person is really like, will pull things off and is willing to go do hard stuff. So sort of like, even if you don't feel like your job at American Eagle or wherever you work is like helping you right now, there's a way to write it in your resume that's like helpful. Like on my resume it says like, I worked in the fitting room and helped, helped customers with like body image and through those issues, and like that is helpful because I work in women's rights. So I just like convinced, there's ways to word the resume that make everything seem really perfect and like it makes sense.
Sorry. I worked as a barista throughout college, so I was able to, because I find it easier to wake up in the morning than do like a night shift, because I also worked like as a waitress throughout high school. So I was able to I tried to find a job that was applicable to like school hours and everything, so that I could do that. And it was like, I only did stuff towards my major during the summer actually. I didn't really do things during the school year. I went on a dig last summer, I went to Ireland. So it's like figuring out stuff, like ways to add to your resume and everything, or like your CV. Like working in service and then also having my degree, that's how I got a job at the Met. You know, I met the head of HR at the cafe that I worked at. I still work there actually part-time. So it's like, you never really know also what you're gonna find, you know what I mean? It's just like keeping your mind open, also doing like those really like per diem entry-level jobs. Like I work bare bottom at the museum, but you know, it's gonna look great for grad school. So that's all I'm looking forward to.
I think also when I was in high school, I worked service, and then also that allowed me to make enough money to have time to do an internship when I was in high school. I worked for now Lieutenant Governor Antonio Delgado. I was one of his campaign interns, and that sort of turned into being a field organizer and that stuff. So like if there's something you're interested in right now that you think might be helpful for college, like just try to find a job in it or something even a little bit related. Like still when I tell people I worked for the Lieutenant Governor, it's helpful. And it's like, no, I was 16, but it's still like valid experience. It's something I did, and people ask me for advice. I'm like, oh, when you worked on that campaign, what did that look like? And it's still valuable, and I did that when I was here. So you can, if there's something you're sort of into, and I know I'm leaning towards, it's an election year, so if you want to work for a campaign, figure it out now, because you can. But if there's something you're sort of into, if you want to be a doctor or something, there are ways to like call those people and be like, hey, any chance you need somebody to do community service hours in this specific thing that I'm randomly into? And they might say no, but they also might say yes, and then it's really helpful. And again, doing service jobs helped me have the ability to do that.
Okay, we have a few minutes left. I want to ask students, do any of you have questions for the panel? Teachers too.
I'm not a student. I just wanted to ask them specific, all of these resources that you all found, who were the touchstone people in the school that you use to get information about that? Because I think a lot of times the internet can be really daunting, and looking this stuff up on your own can be really daunting. So what advice do you have for the students about the touchstones that in the school that they can utilize?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. I feel like when I was in college and when I was in med, or trying to go to med school, but even just trying to get into college, I felt like everybody knew things that I didn't, and I didn't know how to find out what everybody else knew. And I just have still now in med school feel like I am playing catch up all the time about things that everybody else must know just from birth or something. And I think that the thing that helped me bridge the gap was just like relationships in college. So talking to people in class or friends I made outside of school, and just like not being afraid to ask questions and being like, I don't know what you're talking about. Can you tell me how you found out about that? Because I do think that the internet can be daunting, and I've learned that like looking things up actually creates a lot of anxiety for me. And I find myself on like discussion boards that are more harmful than helpful. And so, yeah, I think that just talking to your peers or people older than you or people who are where you want to go and asking them, oh, what way did you get there and what was helpful for you? And not just relying on one person to tell you how they did it, but like getting a lot of different experiences and kind of making a patchwork of what's helpful for you and taking from their advice what's applicable. But a lot of the resources I found helpful for college were just simply from talking to strangers or talking to people I knew or things like that.
I just want to add, your advisor is your best friend. When I was at SUNY Ulster, I had Rebecca. She was amazing, but I also knew her since 8th grade. But she was amazing. She was so helpful when I transferred, and I'm at Alumni now, and I have Olivia. She's spectacular. She specializes in my major. She's emailing me right now about programs and things I can do at Alumni. I also had a transfer advisor. Her name was Sabrina. She was amazing. Your advisors are there to help you. Please use them. I was in Sabrina's office every 5 minutes, and now she wants to give me an internship. So things like that matter. They are your resources, they're free. So go in there, talk to your advisors, talk to your peers, talk to some professors who usually know things or can help you find a cheaper option. I know we talked about Trio and whatnot. I know Alumni has C-STEP, which is for like if you're going to be a doctor or certification, they help you pay for college. But just don't be afraid to ask. I know we say that now in high school, and it stands true in the real world and a job. But yeah, there's always somebody that knows. Somebody always knows.
For me, since I go to a bigger school, I don't really find my advisor that helpful. Sometimes I feel like our meetings are really rushed because she has another appointment right after. And so for me, it was really just like connecting with the upperclassmen when I was a freshman and them sharing their experiences and like opportunities that they had really helped me just gain more knowledge and become more comfortable with college and, you know, like the financial aspects and everything else that goes into it.
Yeah, I agree with you that Hunter is a very big college. It's a community college. And so my initial freshman advisor did not help me at all. She actually told me to take classes that I now regret taking just because with my scholarship I had limited credits to take that it would cover. So I ended up taking a couple classes that I didn't need. And so that's also why I loved my scholarship, is because I got one of my professors that I love, and he's an amazing guy, but he helped us figure out scholarships and everything. And sometimes there's scholarship people, like there's people within like counseling and advisory that are strictly just for scholarships and helping students figure out what scholarships that they can get to help pay for the college or also grad school or whatever you want to do.
I want to thank the panelists for being with us today and give them a round of applause. And on behalf of Mr. Babone, because he says it every time we have an alumni meeting, he echo what's been said about ask. If you have questions, ask. You guys can craft your own future, map your own future. Go to your teachers, go to your counselor. You have business classes. You have a lot of people here who can be a resource for you as you move on out of Ellenville High School after your graduation. So have a good day. Thank you. We will be happy to see all of you here and all of our guests as well. So the purpose of today's meeting is for young people right here at the table who have all graduated from Ellenville High School, are here to share their experiences after high school so that you can benefit as you prepare for your graduation from high school. How many juniors do I have here? Raise your hand high. Down. Seniors? Do I have any 10th graders? Okay. All right. Welcome to all of you. So a couple of things I want to mention. We're going to be asking the panel questions for you to hear their answers, and then later we're asking you questions for them. So think about things that come up for you. All right, we're going to begin by having the panel introduce themselves. And to the panel, those of you who are here this morning, you already know the routine. For those who have just joined us now, please clearly use the microphone. Let everyone know your name, what your status is, career or college, and what you're doing with that. And what else was in that? And your future goal. Okay, what are your future goals? So can I start with you?
Hi, I'm Megan Eckert. I graduated from Ellenville in 2019. I just graduated from CUNY Hunter College this past May with a degree in anthropology, classical archaeology, and a minor in geology. I currently work at the Metropolitan Museum of Art. I work in the Visitor Experience Department, and I'm also applying for grad schools at the moment.
Hi, my name is Bella Ramirez. I also graduated from Hunter College in May. I graduated with a degree in creative writing and gender studies, specifically gender politics and poetry. Currently, I'm a deputy to Congresswoman Carolyn Maloney. I'm an advisor on women's issues like feminism, that kind of stuff. I specialize in the Equal Rights Amendment, if any of you know what that is. It's not in the Constitution. And I also do stuff like writing press releases, things like that. So anything that has to be written within the office goes through my sort of desk. In the future, I'm unsure what I want to do. I'm just still plugging along. Vaguely want the Equal Rights Amendment in the Constitution, if that can be my goal.
Hi, I'm Gabby. I graduated a couple months ago from Ellenville. I go to college at Staten Island. I also play soccer there, so I'm a D2 athlete. And I'm majoring in education right now with a minor in photography, but I'm switching my major to a arts and photography major to do my master's program in education later on.
How everybody doing? My name is Hassan McComb Jr. I'm a sophomore international business major from Kingston, New York. And I attend Howard University currently as an international business major, and I want to be an entrepreneur.
Hey everyone, my name is Sonia. I'm currently a third-year student at Syracuse University studying psychology on the pre-med track. I also graduated Ellenville in 2021, and my future goal is to be a psychiatrist.
Hi, my name is Michelle. I graduated in 2022. I'm a current UOLB student studying social work and criminal justice. I work at Rondout as well as a psych hospital up in Albany. My career goal is to get my master's in social work and criminal justice and work in juvenile delinquency center with adolescents.
Hi guys, it's Tatiana. Some of you may know me as Miss King. I graduated here in 2018. I am a licensed cosmetologist. And my future goal, I think, is to be here full-time with you guys, as well as doing a little cosmetology on the side.
Thank you. I'm going to pose a question to all of you. Not everybody has to answer, but we'll get a few answers for each question. So I'd like to know from you one positive memory of your days at Ellenville High School that you recall. One positive memory that stands out for you.
I can go. I'm going to say the same thing I said in the last panel, but I met Megan and we became best friends and we still live together. So that's been really positive for me, just seeing how friendships can still exist post-college and post-high school.
I would say the plays. I did a lot of the shows here at Ellenville, Aladdin. I was the genie. I did Cinderella and I was the evil stepmother. And what else did I do that was good? Definitely the shows. I was really hard to work with, and as some of your teachers in here worked with me as well, know that I was not on the easy side of things. So I still appreciate them for sticking with me and being by my side, even though I was kind of hectic.
I would say mine is the sports and music programs. I was heavily involved with like field hockey, track and everything, and I also played trumpet. So. And I also played trumpet into college as well before the pandemic.
For me, it was definitely like doing all the volunteer work with Mr. Mulhern after school. I feel like I got to network and connect with a lot of people in our community and other people's communities as well. And I also met a lot of people and friends that I still talk to today.
Anyone else? Okay, next question to you. Before you, you have a lot of juniors, seniors, and a couple of sophomores here who are all on the road to graduating in a couple of years or this year. Can you relate to them what your feeling was in anticipation of graduation from Ellenville High School when you were in their shoes? And is there any advice you can give them about life after high school in response to that?
I definitely think the most feeling you probably guys are feeling that I can relate to is getting out of here and running like as far as you can. And thinking about like, you know, knowing for certain what you want in life, and sometimes even though you think you want to get far away, sometimes it always isn't the best, but definitely, if it's one thing, always put your best foot forward, and if you're gonna do something, like put your all into it, as well as like staying like in your own lane. Like even though a lot of you guys, I'm sure, applying for colleges see that a lot of your friends are getting like acceptance letters a lot faster than some of you, and I was one of those people. All my friends got into all their colleges, and I was the only one who still didn't get an acceptance letter. You know, I was worried. And sometimes doing that, I think, sets you back way more than kind of staying focused on like what's for you, and what's for you will come. And also just making sure, like, if something's not for you, being stern in that, like, okay, this is not for me, like, what's next? So I definitely think also not comparing yourself to someone else's lane should definitely help in your guys' journey.
The best thing I can say is, like, in your position that you're in right now, like, make the best decision that is for you. Because, like, I had the opportunity to play basketball, go to college. I chose to go to college because I thought about long-term goals, like what I wanted to do, and I wanted to, like, come back and, like, show you guys, like, you don't have to play sports to be successful in life. Like, there's other avenues that you can go down. And then what she said, like, being confident. And, like, if you want to go far, like, go far. Like, but if you're going to go far, be confident in all the decisions that you're making. And if you want to come back and, like, inspire, like, your peers and all that, you can do that, too.
I think also, like, something I wish somebody had said to me was, like, it's okay to hate high school, because I hated it so much. I never wanted to be here at all. Yeah, no, I hated it. And I graduated and immediately was like, okay, now I'm gonna move as far away as possible and as quickly as possible. And I realized that, like, you can hate high school and hate it all and still be, like, successful and enjoy college. Like, the two things are not connected in the way that I think we often think they are. Because a lot of times when you get to college or trade school or wherever you end up, you have the ability to do what you love, and then it makes it a lot easier. You know, I thought that I was gonna have a hard time. You know, I was like, okay, how am I gonna find new friends if I, like, all of these things were in my head, and it all sort of evened out. So just trust that it'll most likely even out.
Or I would even say that it's okay to go to college undecided. That's what I did. I also had the opportunity to play sport in college. I had some offers for field hockey, but instead I chose school over that because I was already choosing field hockey over high school anyways. So I felt like if I was paying for an education, I should fully do my education. And it's okay to figure it out along the way, which I know is also a privilege to be able to say that I was able to do that. But sometimes you don't need to fully know. Just choose a college that has some things that you're generally interested in and has good programs for that.
Okay, next question. What do you know now about, and I know some of you are in careers already, but what do you know now about taking care of yourselves, financing yourselves as you approach college or get into a career that you didn't know in high school? What did you have to learn, or what did you learn no matter what after you graduated?
Don't open 2 credit cards at once.
What I learned, like, it's okay to, like, take time by yourself and, like, have self-care. Like, make sure your mental health is top tier, because, like, people deal with stuff like that and it's a serious matter. Take time out your day to, like, spend time with yourself, get yourself a haircut, take yourself shopping, like, just take time for yourself, because it's very important.
I would piggyback off that. I said this in the other session. What you like to do now in high school, keep doing that in college. Don't lose yourself. I did theater here for a long, long time, and I do it at Albany. It's not I'm not going to college for it. I don't do it professionally like I used to, but I still find time to do it. One of my best friends goes to game club because he misses playing video games at home with his brother. So what you do here, do it in college. If you play basketball, you don't have to go to college to play basketball. Join club track, join club rugby. Keep up with what you enjoy. Don't lose yourself in academics, because if you do, you're gonna lose who you are at your core. So keep in mind what you like and keep doing that.
Speaking on the financial aspect, I feel like it's so important to learn how to budget your money because now I'm at the point in college where I have my own apartment. Now I have to think about, paying rent, buying food, all these extra stuff. If something breaks, I have to repair it and buy it. And thankfully I have parents that, help me out sometimes, but sometimes they can't, so I have to come up with the money myself. So, opening a savings account and making sure you budget your money correctly so you have the savings to do so is something important to me.
Hold up for 1 second. Are there any students here who are in the Ulster County Employment Training Program, got jobs here last summer? You were, okay, so was that at the camp? Anybody work here with the PC Tech program or the TV radio? We had 7 students, not counting a whole lot of students who worked in the summer. So those opportunities open doors for people when you work so young. And I'll be honest with you, I don't live in Ellenville, but I am impressed with the young people here who work. I don't call it McDonald's, I call it McEllenville. I go over there and everybody at every window is one of our students, hardworking. A lot of kids here work very hard and that's totally appreciated, but it will open up doors for you. So Sonia, I want you to talk about how you were working last summer. Who were you working for?
Last summer, I was working for the Office of Employment and Training, and I was a counselor for them. And so for the people who were working at OET, I was the counselor in Ellenville, basically. So I would come and just make sure, you guys are good and doing your jobs and everything's going smoothly. And it's a really good job and a really good opportunity as well. And I think we do a little training in the beginning for you guys to learn how to budget your money and open a bank account, learn about direct deposit, and also you learn experience how to fill out your I-9 forms and things of that stuff that you have to learn when you start applying for real jobs.
The point is as well, you never know what doors will open up for you. But you got to get out there and do things and ask questions in order to find that out. You never know. There are a lot of people who wind up in certain positive situations just because they asked the question and somebody was kind enough to answer it. Megan?
That's actually how I got my job at the Met. I'm still actually working at this cafe, but my regular was the head of HR for the Metropolitan Museum. And I learned that one day and I jokingly asked him, I was like, so are you hiring? Because, having a degree in archaeology, sometimes hard to find jobs. And he was like, yeah, we are. And so that's what I got there. Sometimes you just need to ask questions. Sometimes you just need to be nice and see what happens. You never know.
Exactly. Anybody else want to comment on the last question?
Also, it's okay to cry. Sometimes you just gotta cry it out. A lot of times, especially if you're going to college or really wherever you're going for, sometimes things are gonna get stressful. Things are gonna get hard. And sometimes you just have to bawl your eyes out for a couple minutes, and then once you release that, you can regroup and just figure out a game plan and kind of just work your way through the steps.
I would also say it's okay to call your mom. I went out the first weekend of college, as a college student does. I got sick, called my mom, 7 a.m. My throat hurts. She drove 2 hours to make sure I was okay. It's okay to call your mom. It's okay to cry. It's okay to tell your roommate that you're not feeling great. It's okay, you're human. Especially when you're a freshman and you move away, as some of you will. You're still a little kid. So don't grow up too fast.
Well, let's continue on that vein because that was my next question. What are the experiences? What are the assets? What are the resources? What are the pitfalls when you're a freshman at a college? You don't really know a whole lot of people. What do you latch on to? How do you make it? What do you recommend? So these guys, when they get into college, they know what to do.
Something that was big for me, Megan and I were kind of in a unique position because we immediately moved to the city. And something that I found really helpful was I had to make a routine and I had to sort of force myself to be a member of the community. And that was so helpful. I decided, okay, this is my coffee shop. I'm gonna wake up every morning, I'm gonna go to that coffee shop, I'm gonna say hi to them, and they're gonna say hi to me, and they're gonna know my name, and that's my little life. And that really helped me with sort of easing in and getting out of how scary it all was. Because I had just like, okay, these are the people that I see and they worry about me, and it forces that community. I don't know if you're at a traditional school where there is a campus, but that was important to me, not being at a campus, to find like the places I wanted to be and who I liked. My favorite librarian at the local library, stuff like that.
Decide you were going to say something?
Yeah, I was about to say, just put yourself out there, like get out there and network, because like you got to think the other freshmen are doing the same thing you're doing. They just getting away from home, so like you can lean on your friends from college, other freshmen, and like don't be afraid to like talk to upperclassmen, because like they're open. Well, where I'm at, they're open to like help you, because like it's a new experience for everybody, and then there's new opportunities. You don't know if you talk to somebody, they might have a job offer for you, so it's just like putting yourself out there.
Gabby?
Your roommate, some people think it's a little scary to talk at first. I mean, my roommate and I did not speak for 2 months of us being there. But I live in an apartment style, so there's 4 of us. We all have different rooms. We have a full-blown kitchen, living room, bathrooms for ourselves. So there's gonna always be someone there. I mean, yeah, the other roommates are juniors and seniors, but me and my roommate are literally both freshmen. The one that I share the room with, she's an international student, so she has a scarier experience than me herself. I mean, she comes from a different country, so it's harder for her. So we finally spoke, started to get closer, and we're friends now. I mean, I always have someone to go to the city with. We're always gonna do something. Your roommate is gonna be someone that you become friends with. I mean, you guys live with each other. It's gonna happen. If you end up hating each other, well, there's other people on campus. If you go to a campus that's small, there's gonna be even better for you for someone to find you. I mean, put yourself out there. It's the experience of college.
We have about 9 to 10 minutes left. The next question I want to ask you guys is to talk to the group about how do you pay for college? What does it cost? What are the things we need to think about? What should they be thinking about now as well in order to afford a college career? Or those of you who went into careers after your college, what does that mean? You know, how do you live? That kind of thing.
Many campuses, I had attended Fredonia for 2 years. They have like on-campus jobs that you can do. Definitely any financial aids, any grants, ask a lot of questions. A lot of people are nervous to ask questions. Ask them, and if that person doesn't know, ask the next person. They don't know, and you keep asking until you get where you need to get. Definitely have an on-campus job. It's stressful, but then once you kind of have that, you kind of just have to learn your time management. You have to like balance it out, and sometimes you have to self-discipline yourself enough to hold back on temporary fun in order to get the longevity of what you're trying to accomplish. And then once you get there, then you can have all the fun you want, but definitely I suggest working on campus. They work with your schedule, you won't be too overwhelmed, and it's easy to kind of talk to them because college is costly.
I would agree with that, but also just like with the temporary funding, there were so many times where my friends were gonna go shopping, and I was like, I can't afford that. Like, I'm paying for college out of pocket. Like, sure, your mom and dad are paying for you, great, that's awesome, but my mom's not. So definitely know how to say no. I know it can be hard to be like, oh no, I can't go out to that party, or oh no, I can't go spend $600 if you are right now. Definitely know how to say no. That's gonna help you in college. It helps you now, actually. In high school, many times I told my friends no when we wanted to go out for lunch because I couldn't afford that every day. It's gonna help you in college. It's gonna help you in the real world. Like you said, budgeting. Someone said budgeting. Learn how to do that now. Mr. Motel is gonna teach you all of that stuff. But like, knowing your boundaries, and like we said earlier, just reaching out for scholarships, grants, try to avoid loans if you can. Like I said earlier to the other group, build your credit score. That might seem irrelevant, it's not. And pay your payments on time and in full. Thank you.
Yeah, I go to a really expensive college, and my parents don't pay for my college either, so it's really difficult finding the funds and the means to pay for college. So, Tatiana, sorry, like Tatiana said, you know, go to your financial aid advisor, but if they don't help you or get you the money that you need, go to someone else and keep asking until someone finds you an answer to like how can I get to the scholarship or this grant. And there's things like the Pell Grant, there's programs like TRIO, HEOP, EOP, and FAFSA that will help you pay for college as well.
I was an RA in college, and that was so helpful. I know it like seems not fun to like be the floor cop, which like kind of does. Like I will admit it's not the funnest job, but you do like I got to live there for free, and that was major for me. It gave me allowances to take on internships that weren't as paid as I wanted them to be, or jobs that weren't as much as I needed them to be, because I didn't have to worry about rent. And with that too, I really sought out scholars programs, like especially in your sophomore year. Look for scholars programs that are for juniors and seniors that include a paid internship from junior to senior year. Because there's a lot of programs across all, especially I know in the city, but across the state, where they'll sort of partner you with an organization that would otherwise not give a paid internship, and a foundation will pay your salary. So like I got to intern at a women's violence shelter that I would not have been able to otherwise pay for. So that's a huge thing. And then one last thing, sort of more into moving into your career. There's a big stigma around talking about what you're getting paid, and that's like a major reason we still see things like the wage gap having such prevalence in this country. So you might be told by an employer that you're not allowed to talk about how much money you make. That's not true. You can tell your friends, you can tell your coworkers, I make $15.75 or you at $15.50, why are we not equal? Stuff like that. So like ask if you're getting a job, don't be afraid in your first salary negotiations to say I want more and I deserve more, because you probably do.
Anyone else?
I was just gonna say there's also a lot of merit-based scholarships. Like that's why I ended up getting my sophomore year of college. I got a full ride based on my grades in the classical studies that I was doing. And a lot of times those can also offer more benefits as well. Like I got a free trip to Greece. You know, that was pretty slay. It was just because it was also, I'm a nerd, so it's like it was on a lot of archaeological sites and everything. But there are just so many more benefits as well. Like if you try and get those grades and everything, like there's other stuff along the way that you might be able to get. And also like Hunter is way cheaper than a lot of SUNYs. It was about $6,000 a year. So we also really looked into doing like a cheaper college experience. And then I also worked full time, so I was able to pay for other things, like we were have rent and everything. So it's like trying to find time, like biding your time, saying no to things. It's like, it's really about budgeting, time budgeting, all that stuff to be able to get through it all.
It was mentioned briefly here, HEOP and EOP. How many of you guys, through your counselor or your teachers, have been on college visits already? How many here? Just a few, okay. So one of the things we try to encourage is for people to go to colleges and visit and ask questions. So those of you who have been in Go Beyond Greatness, or in My Brother's Keeper, or in some of the other programs we have here, as well as what the counselors provide, we wind up at SUNY Ulster. I'm not promoting SUNY Ulster. I want to mention, though, that they have a great way of presenting what EOP is all about. And the guy who runs that program there is a contact for us here, and we like students and families to talk to him because he's an example. He comes from a small district, not Ellenville, but in this area. He went to college on an EOP, economic opportunity, educational opportunity program, and wound up getting his college free, his 2-year college, his 4-year college, and his master's degree free because he joined EOP. You can do that at SUNY Ulster. And the gentleman who addresses us says that 9 out of 10 students that he interviews from Ellenville are eligible for EOP. So 90% of our students are eligible for EOP. So I encourage you, if you don't contact one of us to help you, make your own contact over there or ask us, we can give you someone to speak to. But EOP is another good way for people to go through colleges and university within the SUNY university system. There's also TRIO that was mentioned. HEOP, which can be used in non-SUNY schools as well. Okay, let's switch over and ask you guys to offer up some questions to this great panel here. What questions do you have about your future, about getting into college, about preparing for steps to graduation and after graduation? Feel free to ask. Teachers are invited as well.
I also just want to put out there, from a personal experience, it's okay if you don't go. And it's okay if you do go and you have to come back. And it's okay if you go and then you need to stop for a year and you go back. And it's okay if you go thinking you know what you want to do and then by your second year you're like, wait, I want to do something different. All that stuff and all that mindset thinking is like super normal. So don't ever think like you're the only one, because even still today as an adult, we still struggle with those kinds of thoughts.
Good point. Anybody with questions?
It's also okay to transfer. If you like your school, okay, but you also find yourself unhappy there and you think that this is not the place for me, transfer. I mean, there's other schools, there's a million of them. Just try it. I mean, you can transfer, I don't know how many times, as many as you want, and just try a new place, try a different scenery.
I just want to add something to the transferring thing. I transferred. I'm SUNY Ulster. People at SUNY Ulster are great, don't get me wrong, but I was miserable. I needed to move away. I needed a new environment, new people. It just wasn't good for me here, so I transferred. And hands down, the best decision I've ever made in my entire life. And I'm only 19. But it, like Gabby said, if you're not, like, don't put yourself at risk mentally, like DJ also said, just to make someone else happy. I know a lot of people at Ulster who are there to make people happy. Don't be that person. I'm going to be in debt. When I graduate, I'm going to be a lot of money in debt, but I'm going to be happy, and that's what matters. It doesn't, I know it might suck to have to pay a loan until you're 100, but you can at least look back and say, well, I'm happy. My undergrad years, I was happy. So just keep in mind.
One of the things I'd like to do, I just did mention it to you before, we'd love to have your contact information before you leave, so that any student who wants to speak to you directly can email you or text you or whatever. Okay, so we'll do that.
Just to interrupt, he said the whole contact thing. I work for undergraduate admissions at UAlbany, so if you want information on UAlbany, I can definitely come and give that to you. Just
there you go, big contact right away.
And those AOP forms and those EOP forms and all that stuff, I have SUNY Ulster and SUNY Orange and the senior high student support. And you can come see me.
Teachers, any questions? Yes, go ahead.
How do you go about getting internships?
You want to know?
Interested in knowing about internships.
So at our university, like, we have like career fairs and everything. Like, they'll prepare you for that, like you'll get a suit and all that. But like going to the career fairs and like talking to employers. And we also have something called Handshake. It's like where you can look at a whole bunch of job opportunities, and then you'll like build your resume on like stuff you do in like community service. So, like, employers like to see that you're involved in your community and all that. So then you can apply, and you just have an interview, and you just tell them about yourself, just be real, and like you can get an internship, and they're good paying too.
I also was just going to say, like, if there's a place specifically that you're interested in interning with, it might sound stupid, but just try calling them. Like, I interned, when I was in high school, I interned with Lieutenant Governor Antonio Delgado on his first congressional campaign. And I was like, I literally just DM'd his campaign Facebook. And I was like, hey, do you need a volunteer? And then they did kind of one interview with me, and they were like, do you actually want to like help run the field office? And I was like, yeah. And now still in my job, people are like, Bella worked for Delgado. And then I'm able to reference things I learned from that random internship when I was in high school. So yeah, if there's a place you want to intern, just literally there's no harm in DMing their social media.
So there are many, many opportunities, but you need to ask, and you need to pursue your interests by speaking to your counselors, your teachers, or ask any one of us. We can put you on the right track, and we'll make sure that the contacts here to our panel are available to you too, so you can write to them. Last call for questions. Otherwise, I want to thank you for being here. Let's have a big hand for our panelists. very much.